Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen,
And I'm John Johnson.
and you're listening to
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books.
the podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, both classic and new comics we want to read, and everything else in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Planes, Trains, and Comic Books. Today, we are celebrating Christmas once again for December, and we are doing that with the Patreon-voted issue of a Christmas special called Green Lantern Larfleeze Christmas Special. That was now it didn't technically win, in a blow out of the park win. There were actually, we had a three-way tie between comics.
Yeah, so it was hard to pick one, so we had to do some.
We rolled some dice, and the gods chose which one we did. So Larfleeze won in the dice roll, and so we picked this one, and we'll do the other two for sure another time, because there's only so many Christmas specials we can pull from. So there's lots of Christmases. There's one every year actually. So we will definitely keep those in the running for those years. But yeah, so in case anybody doesn't know who Larfleeze is, all right, I'll do my take, and let me see, John, you know who he is, right? You read Green Lantern from the 2000s, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I read Blackest Night, and so I had a little idea of him. I know he's the only Orange Lantern because orange is greed, right?
Right, or avarice is what it really is, but yeah.
Avarice. And so he's the only Orange Lantern. I mean, there's technically, I guess, been other ones, but
yeah, it's whoever has the one ring, right? So
but yeah, and he also has a nickname Agent Orange, I think, right?
Yeah, Agent Orange is because his color's orange. And I think that's what they called him before we learned his name in the comic. It's been a while since I know the name of the arc that he appears in first in Green Lantern is called Agent Orange.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's actually what they call him. Or if that was an actual nickname. But yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, in the 2000s, Jeff Johns wrote a spectacular Green Lantern series that literally everybody was buying. Even no one cared about Green Lantern for a very long time, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s, and around 2004 or 5, I think, something like that. Jeff Johns decided he was going to make Green Lantern great again, and so he took over the title, brought him back because he had died for a while and was the Spectre. He did a rebirth mini comic or mini series, and then brought Hal Jordan back to the prime Hal. And that's when I jumped on that Green Lantern, was pretty much I don't know, issue 9 or 10 of that series. And I fucking loved it. It was awesome. Everybody was it was pretty much a steady builds. People were oh, Jeff Johns' Green Lantern is pretty fun. And he came up with this idea. I think actually he just continued the idea. I believe Alan Moore actually came up with the idea of the color spectrum for the Green Lanterns. But that was a long time ago, and no one ever did anything with it. I think you just mentioned there's other colors or something, in a DC comic back in the 80s. And then Jeff Johns took that and was what? Okay, if there's more spectrum colors than just green and yellow, because yellow is the bad guy against Green Lantern. Sinestro has the yellow lanterns. Well, if there's those two, why isn't there more colored cores, right? So there's a red and a blue and indigo and basically every color of the rainbow. And so one of them is orange, and that one is avarice, and each one kind of has their own ring and their own thing. So the red is the rage lanterns, and orange is the avarice lantern, like we said. And then I want to say the violet, which is the star sapphires, their love is their emotional spectrum thing. And then indigo is compassion. Blue is hope. and I'm sure I'm missing some there, but I can't remember all of them. So, and this all like came together in one big epic event called the Blackest Night, uh, which was what John was saying he read. So,
Yeah,
that is
and
like the history of it.
there's black and white, which is death and light, life,
Yeah, the
respectively.
black lanterns are the death lanterns, and the white lanterns are the life lanterns. So, um, yeah, and there was like a whole culmination after Blackest Day or Blackest Night called Brightest Day, and that was like pretty much that was like from like 2005 or whenever the Green Lantern series started with Jeff Johns, and it lasted all the way till like 2011 or 12. Whenever they rebooted for the New 52, it was like all the way to there, and even past that because I think the Green Lantern was still selling so well when they rebooted that they're just kind of like, let's not reboot Green Lantern. And so they like kept a lot of those doing the same thing as they were before. Um, but yeah, so part of that is in 2011 they did this Christmas special, and this was a pretty fun issue. It's written by Jeff Johns with art by Brett Booth, who's a great artist as well. He does a lot of like the Spawn comics now. And he's like a pretty well-known 90s artist. But yeah, this is like a great premise for a comic. It's kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Yeah, I would definitely put it in that vein. And I was going to say, like, we gave all this back history. I don't think you would have to know that going into this. Just you would get
No,
from that.
but you kind of, I mean, if you don't know why is there an orange lantern or whatever, that kind of thing. So I was just for our listeners. Hey, I know all this useless knowledge, John.
No,
So I'm
no,
gonna tell people,
like,
God damn it.
If you went to pick this one up, that's all I was gonna say is like it's like, oh, it's a holiday one, it'd be like Orange Lantern, but then like you could probably like that's all I was gonna say is it's for a little one shot, it's well written and understanding that he's by himself and that he's again greedy, so you can kind of pick up on that. That's all it was meaning is that like even for a one shot, I think
I take offense, John.
gives his background of who he is.
Yeah, I mean, it does do a good job for like anyone who's just picking it up and is like, oh, what's this? But I was just giving that backstory because it reminded me of the in Galaxy Quest when Sigourney Weaver keeps repeating the computer, and they're like, will you
Yeah.
stop repeating the computer? And they're like, that's my only job. I'm gonna fucking do it. Like, I have all this useless knowledge. I'm going to tell our listeners. God damn it.
And half the time, I don't remember or I don't know either. So you're telling me for the first time.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's for my benefit too.
Yeah. Well, I liked the name of this issue too because it says, "Aren't you glad it's Christmas?" But then they cross out "aren't" and they put "orange." So, "Aren't you glad it's Christmas?" Like the old joke. But yeah. So we see Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern, standing in front of a Christmas tree that's very freaky. It's got like a bunch of doll arms and stuff as ornaments, and it's excessively huge. And there's just basically crap everywhere because part of his character is that he just must have everything. He's kind of like a dragon, like in Lord of the Rings or something. Like he's got like a treasure trove that he's got to have stuff.
Yeah, just stuff.
He just collects
literally stuff everywhere.
Yeah, and they even mentioned there's like a little like blurb at the beginning that's like, for everybody who says that Christmas is just commercialized and everything, well, they're probably right because this is the perfect guy for Christmas of a modern day Christmas. So, but like the whole point of this is to maybe we'll teach this very greedy, self-centered person a little bit about the true meaning of Christmas. So we see him on the night before Christmas. He's very excited. He's going to get everything on his list because he's been a good boy this year. And so we turn the page, and it's Christmas morning. Larfleeze wakes up very excited. He goes out downstairs. He's like, "Oh my God, it's finally here! All my presents. I have this whole list." And he has like a long ass list. And as he comes down, we should say he's got some kind of like, I think it's a companion he made with the ring. So it's like, obviously in a comic by himself, it would be pretty hard to have him, like, it's hard to write him if he's just by himself. So they gave him a little sidekick that is actually just a construct from his ring.
It looks like a little like because
he
he
looks like
picks up
Slimer or something.
A golem or something.
Well, his name is Glomulus.
Okay.
But yeah, he kind of looks like Slimer to me. Like,
Yeah, I definitely see it in that vein of Slimer.
Yeah, but he's just like an orange construct, and that's who Larfleeze kind of talks to and bounces his ideas off of. Um, and I guess it's like someone who else. It's like someone in his core that he doesn't have to worry about stealing his shit because it's not a real person or something, you know. So, um, but yeah, so he comes down the stairs and he's like, "Oh my God, Glomulus, I can't wait to get all the presents." And then he thinks he's been robbed because there's no presents under the tree. And he's like, "What the hell?" And then he checks the stockings and there's nothing under there. And he's like, "Who would steal from me?" And then he sees the cookies have not been eaten. And he's like, "What? But this is the Christmas barter." Like, I give you cookies and you give me presents. Like, this is what we agreed on, Santa Claus. Um, so he's under the impression that Santa Claus is a real person. Now, one thing I love about this issue, and I didn't remember it until we read it, but as you turn the page, the next page, there's a literal recipe for these cookies called Larfleeze's Orange Lantern Cookies, and it's a real recipe, and I really want to make these this year. I'm gonna take this recipe. In fact, we should post it on the Patreon or something.
I
So
will. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty cute because it's an actual recipe too, like Matt was saying. And then there's like little hints of him in there because it's like oh yeah, this makes 2 dozen cookies or 1 serving.
yeah, exactly, or 1 serving because I'm gonna eat all of them because they're mine. Um, yeah, so I like that, but like they did little interludes like that a couple times in this where it was like, here's a fun thing. So Larfleeze thinks that Santa Claus, skipped on him and missed his house or whatever. When he realizes, like, hey, the chimney doesn't have any soot missing or anything, so obviously no one came here. That Santa Claus is slacking. And then he turns on the TV when he's like, where is this Santa Claus? And he sees Santa Claus on a parade floats, and he's like, oh my God, there's Santa Claus. So he creates his own sleigh with reindeer and out of orange constructs, and attacks this parade. Now, I should ask John, what do you think about the setup of this? Because okay, I'm going to say this. I think John knows. I am a bit of a Grinch. I do not like Christmas things usually. Like, I'm not a big fan of Christmas movies. I like spending time with family on Christmas, but I don't really care about a lot of the like pomp and circumstance stuff, like the stuff you're supposed to like or whatever, just cause culturally, whatever. Um, but so I kind of went into these issues or this issue and the other Christmas issues we read this year as like not a Grinch, but like, it's probably gonna be whatever. But I actually had a lot of fun, especially with the setup. It was making me laugh. It was making me chuckle. I mean, you like Christmas a lot more than me. Was it like really hitting your holiday feelings?
Yeah, this one right away hit me. It's a cute idea. All I want for Christmas is it's all for me. And then yeah, like he's gonna go on a rampage to like hunt down Santa and find out why he did not bring the gifts. And yeah, like you said, like out of the gate, it hit me real well. I enjoyed it. I like Christmas. I always put Matt is if you've seen those old stop motion holiday movies, he's the Burgermeister from the Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
The stop motion ones, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I do like
and
burgers.
yeah. But yeah, because he's okay. And then something snaps and he's like, you know what? No toys, no nothing for anyone. There will be no fun. And
You know what it is, John? I'm an adult, and Christmas is only fun when you're a child.
Christmas is for everyone. Whether you're 1 to 92, if you're 93, fuck off. You just go die apparently.
Yes.
But that's what the Christmas songs say. 1 to 92. So
I mean, that's what they say, but then it's not very fun when I gotta like buy presents for 1,000 people and stuff. So when I should say when I gotta come up with the money to buy presents for all those people.
It's when you say that the gift is me, and for
yeah, they don't like that though. Like if I didn't get anybody presents, it would be.
Well, that's true because you're the Grinch too, or the Burgermeister. So you're not the greatest gift.
I should give everybody a lump of coal. Is what I should do.
You should be like, it's great. This is how you can use it for your
barbecue.
Exactly. You can
I like it. Anyway, enough about me being bah humbug. Yeah, so Larfleeze with his orange sleigh and reindeer that look all crazy and wicked attack this parade, and he tries to attack Santa thinking it's the real Santa, and then he pulls off his beard and his hat, and he's like, wait a second, you're not real Santa. Where's the real Santa? And then he turns and he sees another Santa running from the parade into like a mall or whatever. So he attacks that Santa, and he sees that that's also not the real Santa. And then he's like, where is Santa Claus? Tell me. As he turns and sees a bunch of mall Santas all like together getting dressed. And one of the kids that's like, I guess one of their kids says, Santa's in the North Pole. And so Larfleeze is like, oh, which way is that? So then we get this like montage of like, help help Larfleeze find the North Pole. And then there's like a maze on the page, like an interactive game of like help him find the North Pole. Which is kind of fun. You could just imagine it works as the comic and as this game. So if like you bought this for a kid, they could have fun and do this little maze game. But also you see in the panels, he's like running into the abominable snowman. He's running through the South Pole, through a bunch of other areas, you know? So, and then finally in the center of the maze, we get a panel of him finally at the North Pole. And then as he gets to the North Pole and we turn the page, he's like, there's nothing here. This is BS. Like Santa is lying to everybody. And then all of a sudden, Green Lantern shows up and is like, what are you doing, Larfleeze? And they have like a little construct battle. I liked this construct battle. What did you think?
Oh yeah. I don't know what the big like creature is that he has hold him, but then when it's like,
It looks like a polar bear.
okay, yeah, I went 100% because the face gets covered up from Larfleeze's like flaming head thing, but yeah, when it's like the Christmas tree and then like a tree, was that a not a whacker? Why can't I think of it? The thing you throw the tree
Chipper,
into,
a wood chipper.
wood chipper. Thank you. I
A
really
tree whacker.
it was not coming to me. No, that was it. I thought that was pretty hysterical. I love when the constructs get goofy.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are my favorite things when they create the silly things.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty fun too. And especially like in this kind of a comic, it's perfect because like it's not really a serious threat, so there doesn't need to be like a serious fight. It's just like a like a funny back and forth, right? So but Hal does have like a like a heart to heart with Larfleeze where Larfleeze tells him like, you told me that if I was good and I made this list that Santa would bring me toys and you lied. And so Hal has to teach him about really what Christmas is about. And it's about the Christmas spirit, which is the opposite of avarice. It's the giving. And then in the middle of this, we get another like interactive page that is like make your own Christmas ornament of Larfleeze, and it's like a triangle that you can like fold and put together if you cut it out of this page. And I like this because there's little tabs where you put glue and it just says I want glue, I want glue, I want glue, and it's mine. So like I just they had fun making this back in the day. I could tell they like it's on point and it was fun for everybody to make. So I appreciated that. So Hal takes Larfleeze back to Larfleeze's house where there's like the whole junkyard of stuff that Larfleeze has collected over the years. And Hal is like, look, if you want if you really want everything about Christmas, including the Christmas spirit, which is the real gift of Christmas, then you have to give away all this stuff. And there's like in the junk, there's a lot of like toys and things. So Larfleeze does give a bunch of his stuff to people in need around the planet with Hal's help. And until all that's left is like a toilet and like a propane tank or something or a water heater. And at the end, Larfleeze is like, I don't think I like Christmas spirit very much because, I don't have anything. And then Hal is like, well, do you really need all that stuff? Like, why don't you read through your list and see, like, ask yourself, what do you really need from it? And then Hal flies off. And so Larfleeze takes that advice and he starts reading, and we see him by the fire, and he gets to the bottom of the list and it says my family. And then you see him kind of tear up, and then he like lays down at night and he's all sad. Uh, yeah, I also love you can see some of the list as it ends on the last panel, and there's like roast beast, tomato soup, like brake job. So it's like it's like shit that like it's not even like presents that he asked for. It's just everything like potentially
Yeah, literally anything you can think of, and again, his list is so long.
miles
Like
long. Yeah,
it shows him in the like in the snow, and you can tell it shows the outline of it, like just like trailing down all throughout out the snow, and then again when he's like looking through it in his house and like going up the up and down the list, it's like piling up. So I love how ridiculously long it was.
it is great. Yeah, I love just the imagery in this comic is great, and also like at the end, I was like, oh, like it is like a touching moment. Because like he's like my family, and I think there's only one left of him or something. Maybe he's like Lobo or something. Um,
Yeah, I don't know his background, but being that his family was on the list, he wrote that down, and then he really sits and thinks about it, and then yeah, like you said, he like kind of cuddles up and is sad and is like, oh well, I kind of feel bad for this guy. He's really greedy and whatever, but maybe he did learn something this Christmas.
yeah. Also, we never really describe Larfleeze. Like if you don't know what we're talking about, like he's not a human. He's kind of like a Beta Ray Bill, like a space horse, but he's got like these tusks that jut out from his face as well. There's like three on each side of his face. And then he's got like, I think this is from his powers, but he's got like kind of like a flame hair going, like a Ghost Rider flame hair. Um, but I think it's just supposed to be like a ring construct flame or whatever. And then he's got like like an orange jumpsuit on from his power ring. But um, yeah, I just wanted to say that he was not human. So he is some kind of race of alien. So maybe that's why I said maybe he doesn't have a family because they're like extinct or something. But yeah, so anyway, John, that is the end of the issue. What would you give it and what do you think?
Yeah, it was really fun. And I think for the holidays, it hits all the notes. It's like a take on a little bit of like a Scrooge situation, but more of like it was just finding the real true meaning of Christmas, right? Which is a very like tropey, but it works in this instance specifically for this character, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, him, first thinking that he's robbed, and then being like, wait a minute, where no, I need to find Santa and find out why I didn't get my stuff, and then finding out Santa's not real. Like, so that whole like arc of him like going through this and being this otherworldly creature, and then coming to like this childlikeness of like, well, I want stuff, I want my stuff, where's Santa? Oh, that's not the true meaning of Christmas. Oh, I guess I gave away my stuff, and oh, I want my family. So it's sweet. It's a cute little wrapped up story, with a bow on it, just for the holidays, and the art's really good. And it's got a lot of funny little bits through it, and it's a little quick one shot, so it's a fun little read. Yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite ones that we did this year, and like I definitely I'll put it up there with the Hellboy that we've done previously, and those are always really fun. So I would give this one an 8. It was really solid.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say we should grade them against the other one shots we've done, not like a whole story, but yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot actually as well. It made me chuckle quite a few times, and it did get me in the feels at the very end with his family and stuff. I was like, oh, so I think mission accomplished for this. And I think Jeff Johns does a good job of writing this kind of sentimental stuff every now and then. Because I think he is like that guy. Like when you read his stuff and it's sentimental, you believe it because he does think it for real. There's no like cynicism in it. I think he writes superheroes because he does think superheroes are like good role models, and like there's no like Alan Moore Watchmen attitude towards this or anything. There's no like scoffing at it. I think he believes in it. And I think it works really well for this kind of thing. I just read he just did like his little 12 issue run for the last couple years of JSA, and I don't know if you knew this, but You know the character Stargirl?
Oh yeah.
So he created her in the 90s, and he modeled her after his sister who died when he was a kid. And her name was Courtney and everything too. So he named Stargirl after his sister. Um, and the last issue of this JSA run that just finished was like a dedication to her because it was like the 25th anniversary of that character. But he did like a whole like memorial issue for his sister and that and like the character, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the saddest, sweetest thing ever. like I was literally like crying, like tearing up from it because it was like, dude, I wish someone would make me a superhero.
Yeah, that's really
Like her
that's really
sister gets to
get you in
live
the,
on forever, in comic form.
yeah, it really
Um,
gets you in the feels. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
really cool.
very awesome. But yeah, he knows how to write this stuff really good. So I love it. I thought this was great. I'm gonna give it an 8 as well, as far as like out of the one shots that we've done. Um, and so yeah, it's good stuff. We do have later on some of the other specials that we're doing next week. We're going to release on Christmas, and some of those are a little bit more cynical about Christmas and whatnot. But those are fun to read as well. But it is nice to read one that's like earnest,
Yeah.
So, so I gave it an 8. You gave it an 8. We both had a good time reading this. If y'all don't know, we are doing a special for just everybody in general, and we're doing one on the Patreon. So thank you, patrons, for voting for this one. We enjoyed it, and sorry if you voted for one of the other ones and we just rolled the dice for this one. But I think this was like a really good one out of the three that won. So thank you, though.
Yeah, and we'll, like you said, we'll keep a hold of the other ones. We'll throw them in our bag and pull them back out next holiday season.
Of course. So, and with that, we'll see you guys on the next one. I hope you guys have a happy holidays.
Happy holidays on the next one.
Bye.